Okay, this is a machine that I'm going to scrap out because it's got a leaking gearbox in it. The bearings have gone out in this gearbox, and it's not economical to change it. But what we're going to do, I'm going to explain the clutch today. I mean, it's called a Splutch. I guess it's the word for two different things. I don't know what the S is for. Maybe shifter and clutch. But what it is everything behind this large wheel here is called the Splutch. And to get to it, you take the first thing, you take the guard off, and then you want to take this belt off. So if you just pull one side of this belt as you rotate it, it'll come off that big gear, and you're able to take that off. While we're at it, since I am scrapping this out, I'm going to take this capacitor out. So we can, I'm going to take this capacitor out so we can see what's going on with this thing, or see what it's doing. And I'll just undo these wires here, get all this out of our way. Everything is just oily and greasy from the seals on the gearbox breaking. Alright, so we've got everything out of the way now. We have this large pulley here that the belt runs on, and you have this unit here which is called the shift actuator. The shift actuator has this little arm on it that fits in this slot. And let's take this shift actuator off. Now the shift actuator is actually two components in one. You have your tachometer and your shifter. And the way it works, the way it works, you have this component on here with these two posts, and there's a wheel right here, and it's got slots in it, and it passes through these two posts right here. And I'm thinking that there's an electric eye or a magnetic field or something that's in here, that the faster this wheel turns, it'll probably count the pulses, the time these pulses between each one of these slots in the wheel, to tell the machine its rotations per minute, or revolutions per minute. They make two kinds of these for these particular kind of machines. One's red, one's black. This is the newer one, I think. But this little arm right here will fit in this slot, and it will shift this thing back and forth. This is the Splutch. This one shifts very easily with my finger, so it's a very good, it's a good piece. So we need to take this part and see. Now if you had it shifted to agitate, you don't have any back pressure. So if I shift it this way, I turn the whole drum, and you shift it this way, and it disengages this wheel, where it only turns this one shaft right here, which is the agitator shaft, and that shifts it to turn the entire wheel. And you can see when it's shifted like that, This is the agitator shaft, and you don't have an RPM. But if you shift it like this, it engages this whole spin tub and your RPM wheel. So to get this off, we want the extra mass of that tub so we can loosen this bolt. I mean this nut here. We want this position so that we can loosen this nut. So once we take this loose, you turn it over, you can see these. They're not exactly gears. They're kind of, I guess you could call them gears, but they engage this part of the splutch right here. And when I disengage it, you can see how that works. When the shift actuator puts it into agitate mode, it pulls this part away from this gear here, and it spins by itself. Now the inside of this gear has splines on it and spins this shaft right here, which is your agitator shaft. Now to get this off, you have four posts on it that fit in these slots, and if you just turn it counterclockwise, it will disengage and it'll come out. Now you have this spring right here that makes this thing, when it engages it, it moves it either forward or out, and as you disengage, that spring pressure will push that gears part against the gears of this wheel here. And when it's disengaged, it just spins freely. And then as part of this gearbox, you have two shafts. You have this inner shaft with splines on it, which is this wheel right here will catch, and you have this shaft right here with splines on it, and those splines go into the right here into the large part of the splutch. And when these engage, that would turn both of these shafts together. So if we look further into the splutch, there's three parts to it. Well, I guess there's 5 parts really. You have your main pulley and your spring, and then you have this part right here that engages your spin tub shaft, and you have this part right here which engages your pulley wheel, and then you have this inner cam that the shift actuator fits in like this, and as it shifts, it will either, you can see this ring rides up on these cams right here. You have them here and in here, and if you push it that way, it'll ride up on top of that cam. If you push it this way, it will slide downward, which makes this go up and down. If you look at this, see, it goes up and then it goes down. And the spring pushing against it makes these go into that large wheel. This is how it shifts it from agitate to spin. Yeah, so you have this inner part, this ring, and this inner ring, and then this outer ring. And what can happen to these, this one works very well, but if you can't push that with your finger fairly easily with the spring tension on it, then something's going on. If this is real hard to turn, then something's usually going on. Usually, for some reason, these get hot, or some kind of friction on them causes this ring and this ring to get rough and want to stick together, and it doesn't move freely like this one does. This should move fairly freely. And sometimes you can fix one that's sticking. And the way you know that it's sticks if you put it in agitate mode, in the service diagnostic mode, put it in agitate mode. If the spin basket and the agitator both move at the same time when it's trying to agitate, you know this ring is stuck and it's not shifting correctly. So there you have your shift actuator.